What is your name?
Karen McDonald,
How old are you?
25.
What is your job title?
I'm a medical assistant
Where do you work now?
at a GYN office.
How long did you have to go through school?
It was a 7-month course, and then on my 8th month, I had to do my internship, where I had to do 180 hours to prove myself.
Which school did you go to?
I went to MedTech.
What inspired you to go into the medical field?
I had an incident when I was 4 years old. I got burned with hot boiling water, and then the doctors and nurses that work on staff didn't give up on me, even if chances were slim of me surviving.
Do you find your work rewarding?
I do.
What is the hardest part of your job?
Dealing with emotional, stressed out patients on a daily basis.
In what way has your job changed your life?
It has shown me to be a better person and to keep patience with everything that's going around me.
If you were to give advice to someone following in your footsteps, what would it be?
Do not lose your head. No, keep calm. And yes, life will be hard. Everything will be thrown at you, but if this is what you want, not to give up and just keep your head up high.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
No problem.
My name is Sean Helwig, and I'm 18 years old.
What volunteer service were you part of?
I was an emergency first responder with Buck Hall Volunteer Fire Department.
What training and qualifications did you need to be a part of your service?
The training that I received was in hazmat awareness, which is being able to identify hazardous materials like explosives, like corrosive materials, like chemicals. I had to be certified in basic life support, which is CPR, the compressions, all that stuff. Had to be certified in HIPAA/EMS billing, which is medical confidentiality requirements, as well as the actual financial side of emergency response.
What inspired you to go into the rescue squad?
It was a function of needing to do something for college, but more than that, it was the ability to do something that genuinely mattered. Because nothing I've ever done, excluding that, had a serious impact on the world. And I don't say that in a morose way, but just as a matter of fact. High school doesn't matter, but this did.
How has this changed your life, good or bad?
It gave me a very serious appreciation for life, because every time that you go out on one of these incidents, you are very likely dealing with the worst day of someone's life. And the ability to go home every night at 10:30 and then go to sleep, separate from all of that, it helps me realize how insulated and how really easy my life is relative to that. And it gives a level of appreciation for every day that I would not have had I not done this.
What was the hardest part?
Dealing with the time pressures of the incidents. And that's something as even simple as grabbing an item out of a bag, right? Like having to grab what are called like spider straps, which you use to snap people into a headboard. Remembering where they are inside those, like these are densely packed. The ambulance is densely packed with all kinds of material. The bags that you have are filled with all kinds of stuff. And just having to remember under pressure the location of all those items I understand it's specific, but that really was the hardest part. That was the difficult part.
What advice would you give to someone who's following in your footsteps?
Learn to pay attention to detail, because if you leave out something small but necessary from the ambulance or from a bag, then you have failed the person that you are trying to serve.
What are your future plans?
I plan on joining the rescue squad in a fire department up in Fairfax at college, and then either branching into getting my EMT certification or my fire certification.
very much for your time. We appreciate all your help.
Thank you.
Could you please introduce yourself?
Oh, okay. I'm Jeanette Evangelista, and I've been working in the medical field as a registered nurse for maybe 15 years.
Oh, where do you work at?
I'm working at Reston Hospital right now. I've been there for 15 years, actually. I work in Kaiser for OBGYN too before that.
What made you want to go into the medical field?
To be honest with you, I wanted to be a doctor, but I studied back home. Home is like Philippines, and my mom was already here, and she said it's kind of hard for me to get like a job, or I really need to study more if I want to be a doctor. So, because she said I need to go to like a school first before becoming a doctor here. So I just decided to become a nurse.
How long was your training to become a nurse?
Back home, I graduated in the Philippines. We need to take 4-year course though to be a bachelor registered nurse. Yeah.
What is your favorite part of your job?
To be honest with you, I'd love to like teach people though. I think that's my thing, because there are other positions as a nurse in the office, like to work in like medical offices, but I don't think that's my call though. My calling is to be with people and interact with people. I think that's my ultimate like goal, is to teach people and serve people.
What is the biggest lesson you've learned throughout your whole career?
The biggest lesson maybe is to deal with different kind of people though. I think that's the hardest part. Of course, in our profession, especially working for like 15 years with people, you will meet like different kind of people from different kind of like countries though, and they have like different kind of attitudes. So you have to deal with all of them, because for us, they are your like customers. You serve them, so but some people just don't respect you either too. They thought you're like a nurse, you're like their slave. But that's just like few patients that we have though. But most of the time they're pretty like nice and appreciative of what you're doing. So
What advice would you give to someone walking in your footsteps?
you have to be patient though, and if you would like to be a nurse, nursing is like serving, I think. I think you have to have like the compassion to serve people though, because if you just like think about it as a job, I don't think you will enjoy what you're doing though, because it really takes your like time, and have to love what you're doing, I think. So
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
oh, no problem, Catherine. Yeah.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Ivan Sefka. I'm 17, and I work for the Greater Manassas Volunteer Rescue Squad.
What training and qualifications did you need to do your job?
I need ICS 100, 200, 700, and 800, as well as hazmat from Texas A&M University for engineering, and I needed to have training in CPR for basic life care support, BLS, and go through a 4-month EMT class.
So what is your current position?
My current position is EMT aide. I ride in the back of the unit, but I'm currently working on my precepting or my internship, where I will be able to lead the unit as a OIC.
What inspired you to join the rescue squad?
Since I was a kid, I've always wanted to do stuff in medical, but I was going through the newspaper, saw GMBRS, came to check them out, and pretty much fell over head over heels, heart thumping, breath shortening, in love with EMS.
How has this changed your life, good or bad?
In some cases, it's changed it for the better. In some, for the worse. Starting with the good, it's made me a little more mature, and it's made me understand the fragility of life, as well as understanding that each day is precious. Something that changed for the bad, I have a very short level of patience for stupidity, and I don't understand how people could do things that injure their bodies when they know that it has ramifications. As well as I've become harder, not necessarily stronger. In some senses, I've become stronger emotionally, but in other ways, I don't let people get near me, and I don't make a lot of friends, because why when I could be running an EMS call for them?
How would you describe an average call?
All right, so usually it depends on whether it's in the morning or night, before bed or not, but we're just going to go with an average call about 10. We come on about 6. So at about 10, we're getting ready to go to bed, but the call will come on, the tones, and the red light will come on, and it will come across dispatch, ambulance 501, you've been dispatched to an injury of a 35-year-old female who fell at the ice skating rink. Then you will jump on the unit, you'll go to it, and oftentimes if it's just an injury, there may be some blood, there may be a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it's easy to take care of. You ask them if you want to go to the hospital, and then you take them to the hospital. Other calls are a little more complex, such as an extrication, which is where the vehicle has impinged upon the person and they cannot get out of the vehicle. That's where you would call a rescue, and they do a cut job with the jaws of life, and they'd cut it open, and then we would extricate the person holding C-spine, holding their spine in place.
What was the hardest part of your job?
Probably the hardest part was not realizing how it's not the death necessarily that hurts you the most. It's those who live afterwards, or those who live with a permanent injury. For instance, I had a call where it was a 14-year-old boy who said he had a headache, but in fact it was a brain aneurysm. And as I was holding him in my arms, carrying him to the unit, he died. And his mom said from behind me, and this was the hardest part, not him dying, it was the mom behind me saying, "Don't let my baby die." That was the hardest part, which I didn't realize was going to happen. I thought what was going to be the hard part was the death, feeling that person limp. But in fact, it was the mom or the dad or, the grandmother who her son tried to commit suicide, and now what does she do? Or it's the kids. But there's not always is it the person who's hurt, it's the others.
What advice would you give to someone who's following in your footsteps?
Take your time. As much as you want to jump into this, as much as you think it's going to make your life better, take a little bit of time, get prepared for it, let yourself mature a little bit. We do accept people at 16, and we will accept you, but we'll make sure that you're prepared to go out on those calls. They will be chaotic, they will be loud, they will scare you. And it's just, understand you're still a kid. And one of the things I didn't touch on earlier was, for the bat, I have lost my innocence. I'm no longer a kid. I can't think like a kid anymore. And that's what happens with EMS, is you start at 16, but you're not a kid anymore. You can't be a teenager. You can't do stupid stuff. Now you are a medical professional who works for the state. There's a level of maturity that has to come with that.
What are your future plans?
Well, let's see. I was planning on going to nursing, but then I realized how much money that was and how much time. And none of us wants to stay in school. So I'm going to go into emergency management for global and international disasters.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate all your help.
Not a problem.